I was a little bit critical of this in the past, I don't understand why the Buccaneers spend a number 12 overall pick on Vernon Hargreaves, who's like, okay, he's a great athlete at the University of Florida. He's fast, he's speedy, he's all these things, and I'm probably wrong. They're in desperate need of a corner, but he's got to cover Kelvin Benjamin, Julio Jones, who's the Coleman kid in New Orleans, another big receiver. You're going to bring this kid in, and he's got 6 times this year he's got to cover some of the biggest receivers in the NFL.
Don't forget Mike Evans is a big boy, too.
Yeah,
never mind. He's on the same team. Okay, never mind.
He's working against him in practice probably, and maybe he's doing well. I could be wrong about all of it, but I just don't like the concept of the small corner against the big receiver. I don't like it. I think it's a loser more often than it's not. And then today, while we're in the Bay Area discussion, I don't know, Joe, how familiar you are with the beauty that is Mrs. Miko Grimes.
No.
Okay, this is Brent Grimes' wife, the cornerback in Tampa. He's been with Atlanta, Miami. And everywhere she's gone, she has a Twitter page that somebody should just take that thing away from her as quickly as possible. She busted out with some shit today about, I don't care what you do, what you say about my husband, because he's ready to retire anyway. Talking about Brent Grimes. They just gave him a 2-year deal with some pretty good money involved in it. And his wife is out there bumping her gums about this guy getting ready to retire. He's another
retire.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but she's just, look, in Miami she was in the news. She criticized the ownership, basically just dropped some anti-Semitic, called them a bunch of Jews. I don't quote me on that, but it was something pretty gnarly.
Social media, social media is just nasty, and I really think you should have to go through a screening process like people have to go to get guns and everything, just to have a social media network, because some people just shouldn't have them.
Yeah, at least some sort of awareness course on things you should and shouldn't say.
Yeah, some people don't belong with a social media account in their hands. Yeah, I mean, we could go into an hour-long conversation about that, but who has time for it? But some people just don't need to.
It's very fair to say that if you weren't sitting in a room with 40 people, you wouldn't say this out loud. You probably don't want to type it on your page. You just shouldn't. It's okay to bite your lips.
It makes sense.
Some of the best advice I ever had, I was once told you got to bite your lip every now and again, and it was great advice.
Well, I listened to
football, as the great Roger Goodell once said. That was tongue-in-cheek. Buccaneers, I don't understand the defensive layout, and I don't know that they're too critical of the defense now that Dirk Cutter took over. A couple cuts this week, some players released, mostly defensive, a couple wide receivers that weren't going to contribute anyway. Tampa has no shot at winning this division if Cam Newton is standing upright for 16 weeks. Tampa has no shot.
No, Cam Newton could come out in a motor scooter, and they're still going to win that division.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, as long as he's on his feet, this team's got a good shot of ending up right back where they were last year in the NFC. So I'm like you, going to go with the obvious and take the Carolina Panthers to win the NFC South.
Yeah. Anything else? Nothing really to touch up more on that.
Atlanta sucks.
Plain as day.
Yeah, I think Atlanta sucks. I don't know who the worst team in that division is, though. I don't know.
I think I'm going to go with the Saints. No defense. I'm actually going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finishing second in that division.
I was going to say Tampa's the biggest dog number-wise. They're at plus 625 to win this, but I don't think they're the worst team in that division. I really don't. I think they got the potential to probably beat Atlanta once and beat New Orleans once.
And I know you don't like the kid, and you might have your reasons why, and a lot of people might have their reasons why, but I think this is the year Jameis Winston comes out and say, hey, I'm going to be pretty damn good in this league.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. And if he doesn't, he still has one more year to prove it. I really think so. I think last year his numbers would have been even better if certain guys would have caught the ball, a la Mike Evans. He had a lot of drops. Couple really bad weeks where he put it on the ground. May have cost him a couple games. I'm not going to say he cost Lovie Smith his job. I think Lovie was gone anyway, but the Buccaneers at one point were 6-6, 12 games in last year, and then they dropped 4 straight. If they go 2-2, they're 8-8. They got to have a discussion about keeping Lovie Smith. One of the bigger reasons that they didn't is they were enamored by Dirk Cutter, offensive coordinator.
Well, they like the ability he has to maybe work with Jameis. That's all about what they think he can do with Jameis.
I get it. It makes all kinds of sense. He's your number one overall pick. You got to cater to him. You have to do things to make him successful.
Well, we know two things about Jameis Winston so far. He's very football smart. He showed that in Gruden's quarterback camp. He definitely sure as hell was better than Johnny Manziel. And second of all, we know exactly where he likes to have sexual intercourse with women. So,
Allegedly.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the whole, standing on the lunchroom table and basically directing a student where to go with it. You know what I'm saying?
Like the back of a Volkswagen?
I'm talking about a part of an anatomy, but we can move on from there.
Oh, okay. Let's move on to the NFC West on that note. I think this one is really interesting up top. The Vegas favorite is Seattle Seahawks at -200. I don't know if they're better than Arizona. I didn't think they were last year. Last year, I rode the Arizona Cardinals so hard on the gambling train to win the division, to win the conference. I had them over 11 wins. I actually cleaned up on the Arizona Cardinals last year. Seattle on that opening bad run really saved my ass. Because if you remember, they struggled like the first 6 weeks of the season. They did just enough to make the playoffs at the tail end to win that wild card. And it certainly didn't hurt that the rest of the conference wasn't very good. But to jump all over, we both know that the San Francisco 49ers, under the tutelage of one Chip Kelly, they're going to be lucky to win 4 games this year.
Oh, it is absolutely awful. Take a breath, everybody. I know everybody's sick. Hopefully everybody's sick and tired of this whole Colin Kaepernick shit that we're all talking about. And we're that one show out there. Take a deep breath. We're not going to talk about it. So push that aside. We'd rather just shit on the 49ers for being a bad football team, which they are. And the fact, it's a lot easier. And I'm not going to criticize Colin Kaepernick for what he did or his stance or any of that bullshit. I'm going to criticize him because he looks like he just can't play anymore.
That's a big problem. Yeah.
That's my big. He looks like the kid. He lost muscle. He just doesn't. Last year he was a shell. I mean, it's amazing in the span. Really, I don't know what it is. The loss of Jim Harbaugh, everything being thrown disarray because he didn't. If I recall, he's not really suffered any major injuries or anything like that. So I don't know. I've never seen a player actually not suffering a multitude of injuries or anything like that. Just fall off like that.
Surgery that he was unable to continue his workouts as he normally did due to an off-season surgery. But he looks like he's lost 15, 20 pounds of muscle. He's very scrawny. He's no longer that hulking quarterback, athletic-looking player that he was. But let me ask you this. If you're it's hard to trade a quarterback as a starter, but if you're the San Francisco 49ers, are you on the phone with the Minnesota Vikings today?
Yeah, or
Chip Kelly.
Let's not forget the Denver Broncos, too, trying to go through the whole season with Trevor Siemian. You don't think the Broncos want to pick up the phone and say, hey, I know Kaepernick looks like he's fell off quite a bit, but maybe we can find some use for this kid. I mean, he sure as hell. I mean, he is athletic. I don't think that's left him yet. He sure as hell is athletic. I don't know if he can still play quarterback.
Somebody might want to kick the tires on Kaepernick. I won't be surprised. Look, it would be very easy for the Broncos to just cut bait with Mark Sanchez. Clearly, he can't beat out a 7th-round draft pick from Northwestern who's never had an NFL start. This is actually a little tidbit of information for you here. This is the first time in NFL history that a Super Bowl champion returns to start the season with a quarterback who has never played an NFL regular season game. First time in the history of the game.
Well,
that's something about Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, first Northwest. Yeah, to say Mark Sanchez should be ashamed of himself is I've just lost. I've run out of words. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just go somewhere else more. Just go, Mark. Just turn around and go sit in the corner. I don't know.
The 49ers in that division right now, their Vegas over-under on win totals for the season is 5.5. I don't see them breaching that total. I don't. I think they're lucky to win 4. Blaine Gabbert's not very good. He's not very good.
No, just ask the Jaguars. Why they have to spend a first-round pick on a quarterback just 3 years after they selected him in the first round?
He's not very good. However, guys can improve. These things do happen, but I just don't think he's super talented. I just don't.
No. Let's just call it what it is. The 49ers are a dumpster fire. They'll be lucky to win 5 games.
I think so, and I think that that's another one of those plays that I really like a preseason. I love the unders in the win category because sometimes it's just nicer to see a team that you just know is going to fall apart and be a dumpster fire, and all of a sudden they start to hit that like 8, 9, 10. That's the problem with that 5.5 number is it's difficult for a team to lose 12.
I don't even think the Rams and the 49ers are even relevant in the conversation of who can contend for that division. The Rams are going to go through growing pains. They have Jared Goff. He's a rookie quarterback. He's going to take some time. They don't really they don't have a lot of other than Todd Gurley, who's a stud. They don't have anybody on the offensive side of the ball, which I actually feel bad for Todd Gurley because they're going to stack the box because they really don't have any talent at the skill positions on the Rams at all. So
they are. I do think that the Rams have a couple things going in their favor, and I know that Jeff Fisher is, Mr. 8-8, but this is a head coach who has been through the experience of moving an NFL franchise when he moved from Houston to Tennessee.
Why I'm scared to death to take Todd Gurley as far as fantasy just because of that. The Rams just don't have anything on that side of the ball, and he's just going to see a stacked box every Sunday. They're going to make a rookie quarterback and a lack of skill position wide receivers try to beat you every Sunday, and who wouldn't have that game plan?
I've yet to see it argued successfully that Gurley is a top 3 pick. Is the kid talented? Yeah, he's super talented. He's an excellent player, but he's just in a bad situation. I do think, though, in all fairness, I was a little harsh on Jared Goff. I've been watching Hard Knocks. I've been watching preseason. From all accounts and from all reports coming out there, he really is a kid who's improving and growing up in an offense. And if he's ready to start day one over Case Keenum, then that does say that at least he's better than Case Keenum and ready to go. I don't think Fisher's gonna
no.
Lead him.
He drafted the kid number 1 overall. He better be ready to go over Case Keenum.
He really should be. I don't think that Jeff Fisher's going to be too interested in leading him out to the slaughter, but don't be surprised. Look, the Rams team, their over-unders at 7.5. I think that a lot of that can be said from they're going to beat San Francisco twice.
Well, they're going to be 8-8.
You're right.
Some way somehow Jeff Fisher will take you to 8-8, but he's not but that's it. You're going to stop there.
That's as mediocre as it gets. I don't think that is a good play at all. But I did want to bring that up that team is at 7.5, and Vegas is so on. They're just so spot on with this stuff half the time. Here's one: 49ers at 5.5, the Rams at 7.5, the Seahawks at 10.5. That Seahawks team is going to win some football games this year. I think they are. I think Russell Wilson is a magician. I think he's a very special player. I think fantasy-wise, if you end up with Russell Wilson, you end up with a kid you're going to enjoy watching 16 times a year. And then into the playoffs, he's just a good quarterback, just a good all-around player.
And I think this is the year they might find a way to – go ahead.
He got criticized for being short. He got criticized for being short, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
So did Drew Brees. I mean, that ship has sailed. So did Drew Brees. Had the same criticism about him.
Just a stupid criticism. And I love to see it be surmounted as often as possible when these smaller guys go out there and show you that.
Yeah, I don't know. Jamarcus Russell, what is he, 6'5"?
Yeah, he was 6'5", 390.
Yeah, 390, all Popeyes, baby.
Yeah, he's another tub of goo. He's a bum. Anyway, it makes me angry whenever his name comes up. So, I think that division's down to 2 horses, and that, or actually, let's say 2 birds. It's the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Cardinals are also at a 10.5 win mark, too, according to Vegas. So, that's a toss-up. Last year, I was all over the Cardinals. This year, I think Seattle may potentially be the better team, just a little healthier. They have a kid by the name of Tyler Lockett, who I think is really coming into his own in his second year in the NFL. He's going to become more of a receiver, take on a greater receiver role. They're seemingly a little bit more well-rounded coming into the season. I'm taking Seattle to win that division. See,
I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. I really think if it weren't for the evil Darth Vader-like figure in the hoodie in the snowy realm of Foxborough, I really think that Bruce Arians could possibly be the next best NFL coach in the NFL. I really just love what that guy does. I think he's great. He's not everywhere he goes. Ben Roethlisberger had his best years in Pittsburgh with Bruce Arians. Peyton Manning, not saying they're a product of Bruce Arians, but
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Andrew Luck also. Yes, he's gone. Bruce Arians is gone. And then Andrew Luck kind of regressed last year.
He really did. He really did not.
I like what they're doing in the